Hello, my name is Chris Young, and I'm a Next Gen intern at Montgomery Community Media. And here with me is...
I'm Joy Siegel, and I am the co-founder of the Mid-Atlantic Antique and Garden Festival, together with my husband, John.
Thank you for being here today. Could you tell us a bit about the Antique Festival?
Certainly. A few years ago, actually just after the close of COVID, my husband and I were looking for a project for our farm, and we wanted to create our farm into an animal sanctuary, as we're asked almost weekly to adopt animals. And coincidentally, we have a passion for antique collecting, and we just decided to create this festival with a nonprofit venture in mind.
That's really interesting. So would you say it's like a community-based event?
Oh, it's definitely a community-based event. We do track where all our visitors come from, and it's very, very heavily, we're based in Montgomery County, Maryland, in the Ag Reserve, but we draw from all over Maryland, heavily in D.C., Northern Virginia, a lot of Baltimore as well, and we spoke with visitors probably from as far as upstate New York, Long Island, and Georgia and Michigan. So it is community, strong community. We had a great turnout of nearly 4,000 people came to see us over the 2 days.
Oh wow, that is a lot of people. So I attended the first day of the event for the Antique Festival, and
Wonderful.
I noticed that a lot of the vendors were like from all over the country. Was that an intentional choice as far as the venture, or did that kind of come together when you guys were organizing the Antique Festival?
Well, our goal was to recruit really the best in the industry from all over. And from our 60 dealers, most of them, I would tell you, have a nationwide reputation. So they're well known. Oh, wow. One of our dealers, who is based out of Connecticut, came to us on his swing through the country. He was in Omaha, then San Francisco, California, and then came directly to us before returning home to Connecticut. We have dealers from, again, 18 states as well as England. And yes, they travel very far, Florida, Maine, and maybe northern to Michigan.
Interesting. That's really cool. And could you tell us a bit about your sister show, the Old Line Market?
Certainly. So the Mid-Atlantic show is really become very quickly one of the premier shows, or really the premier show in the Mid-Atlantic. There are no other shows of our size left in our area that's much like us. So we had other vendors, more local vendors, applying to us. Their material is a little more vintage. Their sphere, market sphere, is really much more local, and so we, shortly after maybe the third Mid-Atlantic show, we sprouted the Old Line Market out of that, and the target of that is vintage material, artisans, so we have lots of local artisans, as well as garden material, and that show is the same size, the same setup, and we do allow a few of our antique dealers to what we call hold over to the vintage show, but it's just about 6 or so out of the 60 that come to us.
That's really interesting. It's too bad, because I really would have wanted to go to both shows.
You'll come in the spring. Our show is twice a year, both of them, and they're back to back. In this spring, the Old Line is going to come first, and the Mid-Atlantic is going to come second. So Old Line will be the last weekend of April, and Mid-Atlantic will be the first weekend of May.
Oh, sounds great, because I thought it was like a yearly thing. I would have to wait the entire year to come back.
No wait.
And shifting a bit from the Antique Festival to the farm itself, what does the farm kind of do during the off-season, I guess, like outside of the Antique Festivals?
Well, we are a working farm, so we have 100 acres in row crop, So this year we were in soybean, and the soybean was just harvested off our fields the week before the first show. And we're very traditional, running sort of the farm cycle with our show. So our show dates are coordinated around when the crop is harvested, and in the spring, right before the crop is planted. So this coming spring will be in corn. And we need these crops out of the field because we park on some of our fields. So that's the wonderful thing, is we have endless areas to park our visitors. And then we also have 2 orchards. So everyone walks by the peach orchard when they enter the show. At one time, there were 1,000 peach trees. The orchard is fairly significantly reduced. We happen to love it. It is beyond its commercially useful life, but it's a pleasure for us to have peaches there, and more peaches than we can eat. And we actually give away all of our fruit to charity that we don't pick ourselves. And then we also have an apple orchard on the other side of the property. So we have about 20 acres in orchards in addition to the row crop.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And is there like a bit of history that you might want to share that might be significant about the farm that you find interesting, or that you kind of just want to put out there?
Sure. So the farm name is, it's French. It's pronounced Aix-la-Chapelle. And Aix-la-Chapelle in the 17 and 1800s was an important diplomatic city. So leaders of the small countries all scattered throughout Europe would often come to Aix-la-Chapelle to work out their borderline disputes or whatever they had, probably the same thing we're living today, trade disputes, etc. They would come to Aix-la-Chapelle. And also Americans at that time in the early 1800s had a great love and fascination with the French. So that's where the name came from. And the builder of our farm was a prominent physician. His name was Dr. Brewer. He was actually a college-educated physician, which was optional at that time. And then the other significant point of history is that his son, so the second owner of our farm, took care of Civil War soldiers during the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and our farm was a winter encampment one winter. Yeah, so that was pretty significant.
That's a lot of history for the farm.
A lot of history, yes.
And now moving towards like our second focus as
Yes.
far as the nonprofit. So I know
Yes.
earlier you mentioned that you started running the farm as like an animal sanctuary to like take
Yes.
care of animals.
Yes.
Could you tell us a bit about kind of just like, I guess, like how that started in a little more detail about the sanctuary?
Sure. So I should add, my husband and I are not farming the 100 acres. That's farmed by professionals, and but we do actually take care of our orchards with the help of some professionals. But our passion are animals, and we have all these beautiful barns, many of which you saw that we converted into the event spaces. So that's where all our dealers set up. But we still have many animal barns, and we have many acres in pasture. And we love animals, and it seems not a week goes by where someone doesn't contact us and ask us if we can take in rescue animals. So that's what kind of started. I started saying yes to 5 donkeys, and yes to 5 sheep, and yes to a few rascally goats, and yes to somebody's collection of chickens and ducks, and yes here and yes there. And then you realize all these animals need veterinary care, all the animals need farrier care, and it really starts to add up. So we really decided to start this nonprofit to put us in a better position to be able to say yes for when people ask us to take on more animals, because with taking on the animals comes a great level of responsibility.
Yeah, I would imagine so, with the amount of animals and the variety that you are adopting.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask, as far as like, I know you mentioned like holding this event is helping you to like fund and like take care of these animals, but were there any other obstacles that come with like adopting such like a large amount and just like a large variety
Of the animals?
Yeah.
Well, the most The biggest obstacle, I would say, to taking in more animals or taking care of the animals is financial. That would be probably first, or maybe a tied for first, with all the love and attention that they need. Donkeys are very social. Did you meet our donkeys?
I did not, unfortunately. I didn't even know that we could meet them that day.
Yes, yes. So we moved them over to a field right next to the parking lot because people love to go up and say hi to them. They are incredibly social. They're a pack family. They've been together. They're all, shall we say, related, or have been together almost their entire lives. So we would never separate them. They don't actually like being apart for a moment. They don't like being out of each other's sight.
Oh, wow.
So they're very codependent. But they also, they just want lots of care. They need grooming and just affection and attention.
Oh, that's really sweet, though.
Oh, they're a very sweet group. They know their name. People bring them carrots, and people often ask me if they can come and visit them, between shows, which we're going to encourage. At some point, we're really going to set up more management of, allowing us to have volunteers on the farm to help with the animals. That's
really cool. So then I was going to ask, actually, could you tell us a bit about some stories about the animals, maybe how you adopted them, or some things that you've experienced with them that you feel is very significant to you or to the animals, maybe?
Well, let's see. They're probably the best fed animals out there because they get to eat all the peaches and apples to the point where my vet will reprimand me and tell me no more, no more. We actually also initially fed our sheep grain, which we later learned was a no-no after they really got too large. But they all know us. I would say they all know their names. Scooter, the one that's brown and white, he's the boss of everybody. He's not the largest, but he's definitely the boss. And I think one of the cutest stories, and this is kind of classic with animal rescue, I think. Animals often come with a bun in the oven, and we were so new to taking care of farm animals of this size. Previous to this, we only had dogs. And one day my daughter went into the barn stall and was very surprised to find a baby donkey. And I'm not sure there's actually anything cuter than seeing a baby donkey. They're all head and ears and pretty adorable. And my husband and I had just departed for a trip and just arrived at our destination. And we immediately pulled our luggage and turned around to go back and see the surprise baby donkey. We also had a surprise baby goat. We didn't know we were expecting a baby goat. So, getting our animals, we thought they came spayed or neutered, but that isn't always the case. You might be told that, but we now know a little better to make sure that's checked out. So that was probably the most impactful thing. There's nothing like walking in a barn stall and seeing a baby donkey.
It's a cute little surprise.
It's a pretty darn cute surprise. And his name is Benji. And he's our littlest guy, and he's still quite petite.
And I know you mentioned earlier that you were thinking about organizing possible volunteers to help organizing animals. Would you be able to tell us a little more about that? As far as the opportunity, or?
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're still waiting for our federal designation to come through. We've submitted as a Maryland, we're a Maryland nonprofit, but we need our 501c3 to come through before we can take any cash contributions. So we're not ready for that quite yet. We're hoping by the spring show we're ready to accept any donations. But in the meantime, anybody that wishes to volunteer their time, we could coordinate them coming out when we're present to have them help us with the animals. Fur care, somebody always needs a brushing, somebody always needs a good scratch, somebody always has, needs a little fly spray, all very easy stuff. But they'll take all the time and attention. One day I always dreamed of letting the donkeys pull a little mini cart, but it takes a considerable amount of training for that. So we're not there yet, but otherwise, everybody that comes to our farm is a friend. Everyone is safe from getting eaten. And we have adopted a number of barn cats. That's a big thing, barn cat rescue. Our cats live a pretty lovely life as well. And yeah, we're just kind of one big happy family living on the farm.
That sounds amazing.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming here today, really. And where can we find you?
Well, you can follow us on all our social accounts under Mid-Atlantic Antique and Garden Festival or the Old Line Market. Our next shows coming up are the last weekend of April and the first weekend of May, and we'd love to see you there.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.